Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Frankfurt, Germany today.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, and you must be a little bit jet lagged because you've been out of the country overseas for 3 weeks? You were in London and France for more than 2 weeks in France, right?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, you think that I would have been really used to the time difference. It would take a long time to get used to the time change. But for me, it was today. Came really tired.
You don't have a choice.
It wasn't a problem. Yep, I had an early morning at the orthopedic today, so I had to get up and get going. But yeah. Carrie, though, my wife, she was up way earlier than I was.
Yeah.
And said she was having a really hard time adjusting.
Sure. So, yeah. Well, we were just together in Paris for the Olympics. We're all about the Olympics, talk about the road races today. And you've got a picture by your shoulder of Kristin Faulkner, our gold medal winning women road race champion. And I've got behind my shoulder Remco Evenepoel, also the road race winner and double gold winner after he won the time trial.
Yeah.
So very impressive.
Yeah.
I just put together actually a video from the footage I took from the spot where we were watching together at the road race on the Saturday on the men's day. I had to go back home, and you got to stay for the women's race, which for us as Americans was much more exciting, really, to have a gold medal winner. The first Olympic road race champion since the '84 games, so 40 years ago.
40 years, yeah. You have Connie Carpenter, and then Rebecca Twigg was third that year too. So,
but that was '84. Yeah, it was not a full.
It was a boycotted Olympics by the Eastern Bloc countries. Yeah. Which
and the amateurs too were racing then.
Yeah, these days it make no difference. The Russian athletes, actually most of them couldn't come anyway, but very, very few top level cyclists are coming from what was the Eastern Bloc, where it used to be.
Blanka Vas. She was.
What's that?
Blanka Vas got fourth.
Yeah, Hungary actually
the Hungarian got fourth in both.
And the women's. Yeah.
Attila Valter fourth in the men's, and Blanka Vas, who was so close to a medal. I mean, they were straight across sprinting it out for the final two medals.
Yeah. So I think I was a little surprised that she was as good in the sprint as she was actually too. Lotto Kopecky did some of the work with Kristin Faulkner, although Kristin seemed like she was doing most of the work. And I watched the replay because when I was at the race and I saw them go by the last lap, and Kristin was still just in Lotto Kopecky were still like six seconds behind, and I didn't realize how long it took them to catch and what happened right when they caught. And then so I watched someone's phone just as Kristin was attacking, and I didn't realize that she had just gotten there like seconds before. It was almost an immediate attack. So she and Lotto Kopecky did not do a ton of work in the chase too. Some for sure.
She burned a lot of matches to get up to that group after the split.
Yeah, so I think she was pretty toasty. And then also too, Mariana Voss, I think she was a little tired too.
Yeah, she's not quite the same level she was in her.
She's like 38 years old, right?
Years.
So, yeah.
I mean, she's still awesome and winning a lot of races, but she's just not quite at the most dominant-form that she had before, or the others have caught up to her, one or the other. But so this is episode 362 of the Warren Cycling Podcast. We're recording today.
63? Is it 62?
I'm pretty sure I checked it.
Okay. All right. I trust you.
Yeah. And then today is August
6th.
6th. Okay. Good. Thanks. Yeah, I got the birthday list pulled up, so I was looking ahead so we can. We're probably not as long today, and we're talking about the Olympics like you already watched it, you already know what happened, and we're just kind of rehashing what's going through our minds now because it's digesting Kristin Faulkner's historic win, the men's race where we were watching it. I'll post it on our YouTube channel like I post all of our podcasts. And I'll post the video I made, which is just from my GoPro camera of them going by those 3 times where we were on the climb and on the Montmartre climb almost to the top. And we talked a little bit. We were thinking, I was thinking that Mathieu van der Poel was going to be the favorite. I guess a lot of people thought he was a favorite, but he
most people, I think he was the 5-star.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I'm not
And
sure.
actually, too, again, watching the video, we had saw a totally different race when we were there because
Yeah.
at the point we saw it, it was further up the top of the climb. And then the second lap, Evenepoel put in a huge attack, really big, and got a gap. And and we saw Wout van Aert on his wheel, and there, he really did a lot of work. And he's got marked out really well by Wout, and it kind of neutralized some of his attacks. But otherwise, if Wout, I actually had Dutch people tell me the next day that if Wout wasn't marking him out, they think he would have stayed away and maybe had a chance to win too. So they were disappointed for sure that Wout was just marking him.
Yeah, I think I had. Well, I don't know who they thought was going to be their number one guy. They were both. I mean, both top favorites. Remco Evenepoel and Wout van Aert. I don't know how on the day how they each were feeling. The Americans definitely were working for Matteo Jorgensen. Brandon McNulty and Magnus Sheffield were helping position him. But
Yeah. And it paid off too for them too in terms of a good top 10 finish for sure. So I think they backed the right person.
Right. But I think Matteo Van Der Poel maybe was a little more aggressive than he needed to be because it was the Belgians that had the two cards really to play, and he was attacking at a time when there are other riders up the road, and the Belgians might have been more eager to bring those back, and Van Der Poel could have waited for one of them to make an attack instead of him attacking. So, but I don't know. We love attacking style racing. It's awesome. The riders, yeah. And so, and Remco Evenepoel, was more or less a counter attack than after Van Der Poel's.
Yes.
So
it was they just got brought back, and when he took off though, it was decisive. It was a huge attack, and he got a gap right away.
No one was following the attack, but there were riders up the road, and so if you're one of those riders up the road, you could benefit from it, which the French did, of course, with Valentin Madouas, who was able to stick with him for long enough to get a big enough gap to be able to hold on for silver. So,
and that group really helped Remco too. I mean, Remco went first, and they seemed like they were making him pull.
Oh yeah, they did rotate a little bit through. Which why would you rotate ever with Remco Evenepoel? Why? But you get excited.
Remco has been happy though too. Because
for sure. Gets just a little break.
Yeah, because he pulled for a little while, and then all of a sudden, they did pull through like twice, but still.
Yeah, but just enough. It gives them just a little bit of breather, but
And then he took off again.
Yeah.
Thanks for the help.
Yeah, thanks. Exactly. I don't know. Do they just get excited? Think maybe if I work a little bit, I'll be able to stay out and get a medal?
Well, that helps him. I mean, they gave him a silver medal. He's had a solid career, a bunch of second places at big races, but not a real winning career. And so for him to get a silver medal, that's amazing. So in the French, and then they won Christophe.
Oh, Christophe Laporte. He just sat on wheels in, and he's a fast finisher. So
so I think the French. So I think that Madouas was smart in terms of working with Remco enough to be able to not go so hard that he couldn't stay with them for because this whole second lap basically he was off with them. Then the third lap he got dropped, but like you said, it was enough of a lead that wasn't too much. I mean,
no, it was still touch and go whether they might catch him, but
yeah. So I mean, if I was him, I think it was a smart move. If you didn't think you could win, which I think the French did not think they could win, that was a smart move.
Yeah, I think
Jorgensen was upset about it, but all the headlines made it sound like he was mad, but in the articles they actually said he was because they were smart.
Right, yeah.
They weren't going for the win, but they probably couldn't have got it. So he was upset because he think that he could have gotten probably third or fourth.
I think he was one of the strongest ones there after Remco Evenepoel.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, maybe not as strong as Matteo Van Der Poel, maybe not as strong as Wout van Aert, but right up there close.
Yeah, because he was doing a lot of work too earlier in the race too to close some gaps and right at the front, and he rode a lot like Kristin Faulkner did actually in a lot of ways too. So.
Yeah, well, the Andy Hood wrote an article about Kristin Faulkner as a venture capitalist before she became a cyclist, how risk and reward is a big part of her job, and she was calculating really.
Yeah. There's been all kinds of articles though too, and on non-cycling publications about her too. So she generated a lot of media interest from non-cycling fans or people do. So it was good. I think her win was great for the U.S. in so many different ways, but one of the ways was getting a lot of good publicity about, someone who's a non-cyclist. She's only been riding for 7 or 8 years. She went to Harvard as a rower, and so she has
she was
strong,
an athlete.
strong athletic background in a sport that transfers really well to
Exactly.
cycling. And still 7 or 8 years is still a pretty significant amount of time to spend. But she's
7 years. 2017, I think she.
Okay. Yeah.
First was clipping in. Chloe Dykert kind of helped out Kristin Faulkner win by crashing and making a split and keeping the stronger Dutch riders. I think. I mean, Marianne Vos. I mean, if you pair up Marianne Vos, Lorena Wiebes, and Demi Vollering, all three of them together. I mean, according to wins, and that Lorena Wiebes, of course, she's more of a sprinter.
Yeah.
And Demi Vollering has been, pretty much, I would say, better than Marianne Vos the last year or so.
Certainly as a climber, she is better. For
sure. So maybe she wasn't the strongest of the Dutch that made the split, but Chloe Dygert was moving up. I think she must have just caught herself too far back and knew she had to move up, and then she kind of forced her way up, and there wasn't space, and probably.
Yeah, I watched the video a lot, and it seems like she caused the crash.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but also too, it was a weird situation. I walked that section just before the corner there too, back a little bit, and it was really narrow. It got to the point where it was a tight squeeze there. Yeah, and she took the inside corner, and the Swiss, I don't forget who the Swiss woman was she crashed with, but it was tight. It was tight. I think it was something that the best bike handlers would not have crashed in, and Chloe's not the best bike handler. I mean, she's just I don't think she's perceived. She
hasn't raced so much the last couple of years either in tracks.
Yeah.
But she helped Kristin Faulkner win then by doing that.
They caused separation. Yeah. And she's so strong.
And it caught a lot of Kopecky, like we mentioned earlier, who was able to chase back up to the group to burn some edges. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So
but I kept wanting to read, like, how was she after the crash? I mean, did she crash differently than her time trial crash? Is she going to be fit?
Other side. So she crashed on the left side in the time trial and on the right side in the road race.
Did you hear an assessment of how she was feeling after the crash for her? Because
but they said
the track is the big thing.
Yeah, and they set the second fastest time today in the team pursuit qualifications. So they are going to go against Great Britain for a chance to race in the gold medal round, which will happen in both those races tomorrow. So she must be pretty good. And in the past, when she has not been at her best, USA is not. They've won 2 world championships in the team pursuit, and they've gotten 2 silver medals in the Olympics too. But they've not won gold, and that's been since 2012. It's been a big project for USA to win gold in that. And with Kristin Faulkner now, so it's Jennifer Valente, who's the Omnium defending champion in the Olympics.
A lot of Kopecky is going to race against her in that Omnium, I believe.
Yeah. Like he's done great in both track and road too. And then
so Chloe Jennifer Valente, she's awesome. Chloe Dyker's awesome. Kristin Faulkner's awesome. And Lily Williams has been come up. Who's the 5th? The alternate.
I'm not sure.
Pretty on spot.
Yeah. But and Lily's gotten. I think she was on the team when they won gold for the world championships, and then silver for.
She's been getting better and better.
Better and better for sure too. Yeah. She was from Chicago, and then she lived here in Asheville too. So it's a strong, super strong team, and many of the teams will have 1 or 2 really strong road people with them as well too. But we've got 3 of our 4 are strong road riders. So yeah, but if Chloe sometimes has made a difference in the past, because sometimes she's pulled the last 3-4 laps or so of the team pursuit when they've done really, really well. And when they haven't done as well, she's not been able to do that. So,
but I think the overall level is higher for all the riders.
All the riders, not just their team too. For all the, I mean, so the men's Australian team in qualifying set the world record, or is that right? I saw it today. No, sorry. It was the Dutch team sprint people set the world record, but the Australians, I think, were nearly at the world record. It's a fast track too, for sure. So it's a tough one for.
When do we find out if they can win gold?
Wednesday, tomorrow. They race in the morning against Great Britain, and then if they win, they move on to face the winner of New Zealand and Canada, maybe.
Yeah, those are all super strong teams. So, did you talk to Kristin Faulkner
Yeah.
about maybe us getting an interview with her sometime?
She agreed.
Yeah.
So
you
2 years
said that.
ago, yeah, she said
That's
she'd
on
really,
us, man. Now she's gonna be probably untouchable.
yeah. Well, see, I do have her cell phone number. So I thought I was sending her a congratulatory note, but I thought, she's gonna be like, who's this guy? Yeah, I met her 2 years ago, and I asked her if she would be willing to be interviewed, and she's like, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
But then it was in the fall, and we decided to wait till
Off
road
season.
season.
Yeah.
And then by the time it was road season, then she wasn't available to do it. We should have interviewed her in the fall when we had the chance.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we'll see though. I mean, I do have her cell phone number, so we'll wait till things calm down a little bit, and then maybe this off season we can get an interview with her. So
I wonder if she's doing the Tour de France Femme. Probably, huh?
I would think probably because she did not do the Giro,
Right.
the last Giro. So yeah, I think she probably is. Although, yeah, she is doing the team pursuit. But I think she's obviously in tremendous form right now. So
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. Again, I think we mentioned this last week, but when Nico Roach was talking about his dad, Stephen Roach, winning the Giro and the Tour and the World Championships back when they were in August, all those, he said that back then if you had good form, you just kept racing.
Carried it. Yeah.
Right. So like Tade, he probably thinks Tade should have done the Olympics, which I guess he might have done if his girlfriend would have. Yeah. But
probably,
because once you're on,
that would have changed the dynamic of the race too.
Yes, that would have for sure. Yeah. So anyway, if with that in mind, Kristin should just keep going, because she's got good form, and she's not going to win Alpe d'Huez, which is the final stage of the.
Yeah, but she could win a stage.
Yes, she could win a stage, and she could do really well. She's just not a pure climber. That Demi Vollering more than likely is going to win that stage in the whole thing. But you never know. But she could definitely win a stage earlier on and place highly. She's a good climber, so she could still place high. It's not. That climb's a long, hard climb, and it'd be hard for a non-climber to, maybe unless she got off into a break and had a big lead, but again, unlikely.
Unlikely, yeah. Well, on the men's side, we kind of talked around a little bit about Remco's nice ride to get away, and I don't know if there's much else to say about the Olympic road race. The video will show just a little bit how big the crowds were. You can see behind. You and
half a million people. They said 500,000 people on the course.
Yeah. So a lot of people are excited about the Olympics, and you were at other events too, and maybe it wasn't always clear on how to get tickets or where to get them when they came up. And for the running races like the marathon and the cycling road races, time trial, they're events that anyone can go to because they're on the open streets, so they're free. So
Marathon,
that's a big bonus because you're there for the Olympics and you want to see as much as you can. And so with the free events, I think that packs out. But definitely on the climb, I guess the cycling fans always know the climbs are the best place to watch races. So there were more of the fans for cycling for sure. I think there. Maybe other parts of the course you've got just Olympic fans more. They're not too sure. Maybe across from us where you don't have a good sight line or the non-cycling fans, just Olympic fans, because they're definitely good spots to be able to see the race better than others.
Yeah.
And you have to get there early though.
Yeah, to get the best spots. But you were there 5 hours early, right? Or something like that. So it's a long time. But when we walked up to meet you though, and the climb through the feed zone, which ended up being from the fence line to backed up against the building, so 6 people deep probably. It was packed when the riders came by, but a couple hours beforehand, it wasn't too bad. And with the women's race, I saw the beginning of it there too. I got a nice picture. I was thinking about showing today too, but of the Orthodox Christian church, and then there's the gold domes on top, and then the Eiffel Tower in the background. And but several people were walking up and saying, "What event's this?" And because they didn't know. So sometimes because that was right downtown. And I remember one day too saying, "What event's this too?" I was wondering what event it was, and I think it was the race walk. I didn't realize the race walk was going on that day too. So, but it was not super packed until 15-20 minutes before the race, and then packed 5 people deep. So a lot of times just people were in the area and then packed the course. And most people didn't do what we did. So you see the race, you went straight to the climb, but yeah. But hardly anybody went, I think, from the start then to the climb like I did. That was a little bit more unusual. Although Ben and Nichols, their friends, did too. But yeah, it was, like I said, 500,000 people, I thought, watching the course, around the course. It was packed. And even the time trial in the rain, it was raining off and on that day, and the course was relatively empty up until, again, 15, 20 minutes. I scouted out my spot, luckily, far in advance for that one, too, like an hour and a half, 2 hours in advance. And then we went and got lunch and then came back, and it got really busy there, too. So, yeah, I think it's been really good, well attended. We did see a number of articles that said that overall Paris was much less busy than usual, but the Olympic stuff, yeah, it's crazy
Sure.
packed.
Yeah. And just as you're talking, I was thinking about, I think it was Phil Guyman was posting like pictures of the iconic places, or just talking about, the backdrop of the Eiffel Tower for the finish of the road race. No, but he was just saying, LA. How are you going to match up to Paris's iconic places? Where are you going to ride? They could ride up by the Hollywood sign. I don't know.
Well, they might actually, because Griffith Park, you could go through Griffith Park, which I think they did do in the '84 Olympics, and had that there was such limited coverage back then. I have an '84 Olympics video VHS highlight tape, and it shows the end of the race there. That's the only video footage I think I have. But I think they did go through Griffith Park for that race, and that does go by the Hollywood sign. So maybe you're right, though. But yeah, it's not going to be. And when they went in Athens,
he joked about that they could go through the In-N-Out burger place, or they could go by the Randy's Donuts sign.
Yes, the big donut sign. Yeah. In Athens, they went by the Acropolis, so it was impressive too. Yeah.
Well, in China, they went by the Great Wall.
In Atlanta, they went through Buckhead.
Yeah. There was no iconic views there.
Tokyo, they actually went by the Mount Fuji.
Fuji, yeah.
Rio, they probably went by someplace where you could see the big statue of Christ or something too.
Yeah.
There.
I don't know. They did that gnarly descent.
Oh right. So, yeah. Actually, they went on the water. I don't think they did go by that.
No,
yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah. Well, I hope that we can have success like the French are having it in France.
Oh, yeah. French are doing great. They're really inspired.
Yeah. You were at the mountain bike race too. We could mention mountain bike racing. That's the discipline we cover the least on this podcast. And it's a shame. It's the discipline that's harder to follow, or I'm not finding the right media outlets. It's not included in the normal ones that we look at.
Except for like the Olympics. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Or World Cups. Yeah.
You were at the women's race, and that was pretty historic too. Haley Batten taking second. She was a little fortunate, I think, because Buck Peterson flatted.
But she also
dropped out. Too, so. Yeah, she did flat too. But yeah, I mean, there's a little luck sometimes in mountain biking with the flats and that. But she rode a great race. I mean, Fran Ferreau was just untouchable and just perfect. Yeah, but she's been a champion before, and it's the only, I guess, big goal that she hadn't reached before to win a medal at the Olympics. So
champion
and So
and it was it was crazy. The French were just going crazy over her win, and she won by so much that she was able to celebrate, lift her bike up, go talk to her family. it was crazy. And then Haley was like not expecting anything to be second, obviously, and she rode a really strong race and battled it out with the Swedish rider who won in Tokyo. I think. Yeah. So it was great to be there. So I luckily too, I found out a spot at the finish line where I was able to watch a big screen TV to see the race developing, because when I was on the course, she disappeared from the second, third chase person. So I thought, oh, she must have had a mechanical, and I heard she had a wheel issue because she was like 10th or something like that. And then next lap or two, all of a sudden she was just her in this Swedish rider. So it was, you couldn't really, you couldn't follow the race as much. Also, you could just see it. But then going to the finish and watching the videos, it was nice to be able to see them come through and watch the video screen.
Did they have a big video screen near the start finish for the road race or for the time? I mean, it would have been nice to have had a big screen up on the top of the climb, but they didn't have it.
Yeah, they did have it at the start finish of the time trial and road race, but they were ticket only areas. So there were huge screens there. If you bought a ticket, you could watch the whole thing on the big screen TV. but it was hard to see. Because the men's race in the start, I saw behind 2 layers of fences, and I could see 2 different big screen TVs that were available for people to view if you bought tickets. And there are probably 2 more on the other side too. So there's multiple big screen TVs there, and that's where I saw, too, like Kristin Faulkner's parents. They kept showing them watching it from the stands and stuff too. So that was a good place to watch if you wanted to see it on the whole race, And when we were too, we watched a little bit on the video screens on our phone and stuff too. But the signal was a little rough there too, and it was also a little hard to hear what was going on and stuff too.
Well, we actually didn't mention that she was chasing with Lotto Kopecky pretty close to the finish. The Marianne Vos and Blanca Vos, the Vos and Vos out front, who were doing well to go the line. But Kristin Faulkner, most racers know who's faster in a sprint, and she was not a fast finisher like Vos and Kopecky. So she already knew, and she executed it great, because that's just what you have to do. I mean,
she said in her mind she had played out all the possible scenarios, and so she said that she's an over preparer, and she had every possible scenario in her mind. So she must have had that scenario where she knew, because when she attacked immediately, if she didn't give
when they clawed back and caught, and then the 4 were together for 3 medals, and she just jumped right away. And she's a strong time trialist, but I don't know what the other ones were. Are they thinking, okay, Kristin Faulkner is coming up, we can all beat her in a sprint, is she going to attack? But I don't know what's going through their minds. But she jumped right away, and she got enough a gap. And once you get the gap, then
and actually too, Vos,
the next person who's going to chase is going to give up their medal chance to chase for the others. So it worked out perfectly. It was amazing.
Vos did chase a little bit. So the Hungarian one, she was the one that actually chased immediately, but then couldn't close it down. And then when she set up, Vos and the Kopecky both.
I think Kristin Faulkner got like a minute within the last 3K. It's pretty amazing.
She picked up like a half minute in the last K. They really slowed down a lot too. Yeah, and anything about it too, Marianne Vos has won everything. She's won so much. I think she actually won. Did she win the Olympic road race? Because I think they said that would be a second win for her.
I don't know. I can only go back to remember 2016 and 2021.
Marianne Vos has been racing so long as possible. But anyway, she's won almost everything. She's the GOAT. She's won, she's the best racer of all time, probably. And Lotto Kopecky is the #1 racer right now and won a ton of things
World
too.
champion,
so I think that both of them are thinking, this was not a career-defining win. So Blanca Vos, it would have been for sure for her. So she's the one that more willing to chase. And Kristin Faulkner for her for sure too. So I think that though Lotto Kopecky and Marianne Vos were probably both thinking, if I can win, it's great. I'd love to win the Olympic medal, but I'm not going to risk everything for it, And so that helped. I think it all played out perfectly. And luckily Kristin did what she had to do to get the win. So it was great.
For sure. All right. Well, we got a chance still for medals for the women on track. BMX we got shut out there. The French swept the podium.
Yeah, on the men's side. And about the women's side. We didn't win anything on the women's side either, did we? So
I don't think so.
And we didn't win anything on BMX freestyle either, I think. And usually we're pretty dominant in BMX too. So that's shifting, obviously.
I think we've done well in gymnastics and other sports, though, right?
Well, we won the women's all around, and the men got bronze in the team event, which they haven't done for a long time. And then we won the women's individual all around. But then Simone Biles did not win another gold medal in any of the individual events, which is actually okay by me because she's won so much already and stuff too. It's good to. An Italian woman won the individual, or no, the balance beam. I watched the balance beam into in there, and there's been so many exciting finishes. I just watched today in the 1500. 3 Americans were in the 1500 meter track final, which hasn't happened forever. And an American won. Because I'm missing America one. Yeah, in an Olympic record time. So it's been maybe not as big of an Olympics as it is usually for the men or for the USA team, but still, yeah. But for us, it's great though because you get funding. Your national governing body, which USA Cycling is for cycling in the United States, funding from the USOC based upon medals won, and that's the biggest portion of their athletic budget. So the fact that Kristin won is huge. Chloe got a medal too, which is huge. We got Haley Batten got a medal.
Chloe medaled in the time trial where she crashed.
Yeah.
So
that was,
she finished 15th in the road race too, so she got up in pretty good. Yeah.
I think they were hoping that she would win a medal. They were kind of counting on her to win a medal in the time trial. They were not counting on any medals in mountain bike, not counting on any medals in the road race. So we're ahead already, I think, in terms of that. But
were they counting in BMX medals?
They probably were counting for sure in BMX. I think, yeah. And then track, I think they're counting on a medal for the team pursuit for women, and then probably individual omnium for Jennifer Valenti too. Yeah. But they might be, they never know. There's the Madison. Yeah. Right. They have a chance for that one. And I think we have a rider in the men's omnium too. We have one male track rider.
Gavin Hoover.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up pretty fast here, but I want to touch on. I got the birthday list, but I want to just mention a couple other races going on because the Arctic race in Norway is going on. Kevin Farmarka got third today. Alexander Kristoff won a couple of stages already.
Yeah.
The Volta of Burgos, which is kind of a precursor to the Volta España, and Quinn Simmons, who hasn't raced since like forever, since the beginning of the year. Because he crashed in Strada Bianchi and he crashed somewhere. Anyway, he's back racing. He got fifth today, so
and he said
he's back on track.
Finishing off the tour last year when he was hurt, he shouldn't have done it too.
Right. Yeah.
Did you see that Caleb Ewan got a win today too?
Yep, Caleb Ewan won today.
He hasn't get many wins this year for sure.
In the Vuelta Burgos.
Yeah.
And then there was a race in Portugal. Unfortunately, I wasn't in Portugal when this race was going on. Maybe I could have gotten to at one stage, but there were several Americans racing. Project Echelon was there. Tyler Stites got a couple podiums, a couple third places throughout the week. Keegan Swarble got a 4. I think so. Several Americans got top 10s. But Hugo Scala Jr. for Project Echelon won a stage. So that's pretty good. Have different Americans racing there. Yeah.
San Sebastian is this weekend, I think, right? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. And Nielsen Paul's a former winner, will be there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Tour de France Feminines starts on the 12th. So.
And then the Vuelta España starts on the 17th.
Yeah.
So good stuff coming up. And
actually in the Olympics too, there was a cycling race every day of the Olympics.
Oh yeah, from the start, the time trials and the mountain bike and the BMX and then the road races.
BMX freestyle and track.
And then on track. Okay. Yeah. Good deal.
So a lot of cycling you can watch.
Yeah. All right. Let's hit the birthdays because 6th of August. A lot of riders, the top 10 are inactive or already retired.
Yeah. Is it tomorrow? Is it already tomorrow's? 7th?
No. It's not quite 11 o'clock here at night. Yeah, Stuart O'Grady's top on the first of celebrating his birthday on the 6th of August.
I saw him win the Madison. I saw him win the Madison gold medal at the Olympics in Athens in 2004.
It didn't seem like he would be 51. It didn't seem like he retired so long ago, but he has been retired since 2013.
2013.
So, yeah.
And he actually is the director now, I think, of the Tour Down Under.
And he won Paris-Roubaix, some stages at the Tour, so.
And that gold medal in the Madison in the Olympics.
the active racer, though, which he's not very active now, I don't think, because he was racing for, I think, Miami Disruptors, but Colin Joyce, the American first on the list for active riders, 11th on the list. He's 30 today. He won a stage at the Arctic race in Norway that's going on now. He'd won a stage there before. Yeah, he won a stage at the Tour of Denmark as well and Tour of Alberta. Chris Jones is 45. Oh, there's a name down here I was surprised because he was 68. I thought, oh, what did he do? John Eustace, 68 today. He raced in the Giro d'Italia in 1984.
Really?
Yeah. He was racing in Europe starting in 81.
And it's funny because he was one of the announcers for CBS Sports, I think. And I always thought he didn't seem like he had raced.
He raced several years in Europe. The Giro 84. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I saw something too the other day that someone. Oh, who was it? Someone who's like a not a mechanic, but I don't know, somebody who had raced. I was very surprised. He raced for several years over in Europe too, long time ago. And I'm like, really, that person? Anyway, so
yeah.
So
Olivia Cummings is 21. Quinn Felton, 22. This American celebrating the birthday today, August 6th. Sarah Tussie Raines, 45. There's several Americans today with their birthday. Wow, we didn't talk about getting a picture with Peter Sagan. We didn't talk about there's something else we didn't talk about. I just thought of it. Oh, I know, transfers. Haven't talked about any transfers. Yes, we can save that because they're still coming out. So
lots of times, yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, always stuff to talk about. So
But we did get to hang out with Peter Sagan though for a brief moment.
very brief moment. Yeah, and we got to hang out with Ben and Nikos. That was
Yes.
a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
So.
but the important thing is though we have pictures of both us with Ben and Nikos and us with Peter Sagan. So,
yeah.
You with that one picture, you don't know how long we were hanging out too. So
the picture is timeless. Yeah,
it is. That's when video. Sometimes video is better because it shows you the context and what's going on. Right. But sometimes the picture is better. I mean, like, when you see someone jumping over the high jump, bar, or the Swedish guy who set the world record in the pole vault.
Well, I was reading about him, and it said as a child growing up in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, his parents met going to University of Louisiana or something like that, and his mom's Swedish, but he's American. Yeah, so he is, and he's a world record holder too. He actually won the gold medal, and then kept jumping to set the world record, which he already owned. So they let them do things like that. They also give away in boxing, and they're 2 bronze medals for 3rd and 4th place. You get 2 in boxing. Right. So their own governing body set some of the standards for that kind of stuff. So in track and field, and I remember seeing this before too, in high jump.
So this is a War and Cycling podcast extending into other sports today, right?
Yeah. Right. But in the pole vault though, after you won your medal, right, the competition's over, they give you a chance to set a world record. I think it's the same thing with the high jump.
The Ukrainian woman set the world record in the high jump, right?
Oh, did she set it?
I think
I didn't see that one. Yeah, I saw part of it, but I didn't see the end.
But we were talking about pictures, how pictures can be timeless. I saw a picture of a French table tennis player, and he's holding the paddle really funny, but he's got the ball is like right above his head. His eyes are up looking at the ball. It's really cool picture. There's some good photography coming out.
Yes. Yeah. So there's still a place for still photographers.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
just
thanks,
like
Randy.
This.
Yeah, that's right. We got some good pictures. Put those up on our Instagram and Facebook on War and Cycling Podcast too. So, all right. It was we were just together. Now we were far apart again. It was great to catch up, and we'll talk to you again soon. I hope.
All right. Thanks, Dean.
All right. Thanks, Randy. Bye now.